Okay, my name's Helen Ferreira. I'm a teaching coach with Good to Great Schools, and I've got two teachers from Mapoon School with me. They're both graduates.
Yeah.
Both first time out in the big wide world of teaching, up in a remote community. Don't know what they were thinking at the time, but they just they almost survived their full year teaching EDI in the classroom. So we've just organised a few questions to ask them to sort of get their idea on how EDI has or hasn't helped them this year through their first year out in the field. I guess you guys can just jump in whenever you want and ask a question. We won't do that.
No worries.
Okay, were you familiar with Explicit Direct Instruction pedagogy when you first began teaching at the school?
Me first? Okay. No. I was familiar with like concepts like learning objectives and the paddle pop sticks, but I hadn't seen it
In a whole program.
I hadn't seen it when you use the different norms like your, eyes front, back straight and all that kind of thing. I hadn't seen it like that before. So yes, but no, not really.
Yeah. And then obviously from uni we learn a lot about the whole explicit delivery of lessons and concepts and stuff like that, but EDI does combine like all of that in one. So no, I hadn't seen it all combined together.
No.
Yeah.
You see a snippet here and there, but then to have it in a whole program, you're like, right.
Well, here we go. What was your first reaction? And how were you feeling when you were told that you would be using the EDI pedagogy in your classroom?
Maybe that was my reaction. Same reaction to the question. At first I was thinking this is great that I don't have to plan each individual lesson and that the whole units and the assessment and everything all links together. It was a little bit overwhelming to try and think, oh, there's no room to wriggle on this. I don't know how I'm going to fit all of this into my teaching timetable. How can I do assessments? All that sort of stuff. But once I become familiar with the program, I was like, this is great.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Now you started part way through. We sort of blended it as it came through in the year. So last term was your first full term of doing it?
Yeah, so I started the start of term 3 and I think I was a bit more comfortable with it because Taylah had already been doing it all year. So I kind of like had a general gist of what was coming. But I was also thinking, I have little kids and getting them to sit and do explicit direct instruction, like feels like it's just going to be really boring and I don't get to do my fun early childhood stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not like that at all.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, have your feelings changed since you've begun using EDI in the classroom, and if so, how?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah?
It's so good. I love that I don't have to plan, and I think because you don't have to plan, you get to spend more time actually catering to the needs of your kids because you've got all the content ready to go and you're like, okay, I've got all this content, now how do I actually get that content and teach it to my kids' needs rather than spending, hours planning and then hours differentiating. You're just like, okay, planning's done, now I can just worry about my kids. So all the background work is kind of done. You can just get up, do your show and it's awesome. I love it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd probably just like to add that when you first look at it and you think, explicit direct instruction, this is just a massive big script, I can't change anything, I can't adapt this to my teaching style, and then once everything's planned for you, you can adapt it to just your kids and how you deliver it, and then it really just flows from there and you're just like, you can put all your energy into just delivering it and not planning and thinking of examples and thinking of scenarios for the kids to learn through. It's just all there for you.
Well, that's
good. I think it is what you make it. Like if you got up and were real robotic about it, you wouldn't get anything out of it and the kids wouldn't either. But if you get up and you just, like you said, put on your big
gesture
show.
with me.
Yeah. Okay. Then you're good. It is what you make it, I think. Yeah.
Cool. What are some of the benefits of using EDI in the classroom? So you've mentioned that you've got the planning and things done for you. Are there any other benefits that you found using EDI in the classroom?
You go.
In a small school like this, I've definitely seen the benefits of it starting from the lower years in the prep classroom, and then those norms and things like the concepts and the content that the children learn are changing, but the behaviours and how the program's delivered and everything is all the exact same. So there's less and less behaviour issues and stuff like that, and the kids know the expectation and they know what time it starts and they know to get their books out, and it all just flows on from grade to grade and class to class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. And also, particularly with my little guys who came at the beginning of the year and the majority of them didn't know their letters and sounds and all that kind of thing. Like, they've come leaps and bounds. And you survive doing your own planning, and as a first year teacher, you're like, yep, this is what I'm doing and this is all good and it'll be fine. But since doing EDI, I'm like, this is amazing, because the kids have just gone from like here to just, they've just jumped massively. So yeah,
that's great.
It's awesome.
Yay!
Yay!
What skills have you picked up or found most valuable through teaching an explicit program?
I think it's really helped me with learning objectives, like being really explicit. I found since using EDI myself, I've started almost unintentionally matching the rest of my planning to that kind of thing, like that really structured, explicit outline. Like, it works so well with the kids. So yeah, I think that's worked well as far as pedagogy goes. And
Yeah, that, and the definitions and things, and getting the kids to actually be able to read what we're doing and why we're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really helpful, the norms, like the read with me, track with me, eyes front, back straight. It's not just in that, hour and a half, 2 hours that you do EDI. It's all day, every day. You just use it all the time. So it's good how it just flows
You're
on.
not having to say that as much anymore now.
No.
You just read it and then they're
following.
And you're not having to explain, okay, read with me, this is what this means. They just know this is what
Except
we're doing.
when I'm up there like today, I showed the perfect example of how it doesn't always work for everybody.
I think too, though, that it shows you how much the delivery of your lesson affects the learning and how everything flows from there. So when you're kind of unprepared or you haven't got everything all up and running, and then you're all in a bit of a shamble, which happens, but when everything's organised, everything's good to go, the learning is just bang, 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 and the kids love it. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Here we go. What's it like having a teacher coach supporting you in your first year?
Amazing.
Great fun.
No, it's so good. I think especially being in a remote, small school, your opportunity to be observed or to observe other teachers are like second to none kind of thing. So I think having the chance to have a professional come in and observe you and then be able to model different parts of the lesson and bounce off each other, so that, if I do 10 minutes of the lesson and then you go, oh, well, you could do it this way, and then you can get up and show me straight away. I'm like, that is just, that's where the money's at. Because it's just little things that you either don't think of, or because you don't have someone as an extra set of eyes in your classroom, so you don't know what you don't know. And there's little things that you're like, I didn't even realise I did that, or that I didn't do that, I didn't know that was a thing, and then and then from there you just grow. So
and then it allows for like instant little changes or adjustments. It's like, just for the next part, when they do the next example, try it this, or and then it's just like, it's kind of fixed straight away, or it's tried something else straight away. And
and I think it's so good we have the frequent visits and talks with you too, because then it's not this massive mountain of this is everything you need to do. It's like, change this, and then you can work on this and work on that.
And especially being new to the program, when it kind of is overwhelming at the start, it's like, oh, this works like this, and this is what this means, or and this is how you would do this, and then so everything's like broken down, and you're like, okay, I can try that now.
And remember to breathe.
Definitely.
Oh, well, that's good. How do you think your experience as a first-year graduate would have been different without the support of a teacher coach?
Very different, I think,
I think the program would have been a lot more overwhelming. And I think making it work so that it's not robotic would have felt like a massive task. But seeing you model it, and then you're like, oh, okay, I don't have to get up and be a robot. I can still be me and have fun with the kids and be a teacher. And, the kids are actually learning from this.
And then, as we said, being in a small school, there's not always the opportunity for observations or to chat to the other classrooms who already have implemented that. So there isn't time for a quick like, oh, hey, this is like falling apart. Help on aisle 4. But when the coach is here, it's like, what should I do here? So
how many ways can I clean off?
Well, it depends. And I think definitely with the coaching, like as you said, you come different times of the year and things. So you're not always watching the same lesson or the same concept. So we might have like worked our way around some part of the delivery and then we're like, okay, I just want to try this a bit better. And then so we can focus on that as we grow and as our feedback and stuff changes and goals change. So that's definitely been a good part, is that like, oh, I haven't just ticked a few boxes and I'm good to go now. Like I'm still learning and I'm still getting better.
And I feel like even you'll never nail it. Like there's always room to just get better.
You didn't hear that. Okay. We're already up to the last question. So are there any other comments that you'd like to add? In relation to EDI or being a graduate or working in the remote community or anything?
I think EDI is just great.
Yeah. I wish every school had it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. And on the whole, because it covers all of English and that's just like spelling and grammar and literacy and literature, phonics. Like as a teacher, when you sit down and look at the Australian curriculum, you're just like,
don't know where to start. Help.
Okay, where do I start? How do I combine all of that?
In your other subjects then?
Oh yeah. And then some things will pop up because it's an example of something that we're using a text to learn about compound sentences or something, and a word will come up that might be related to science or might be related to the seasons or just
something
anything.
you're learning
about.
Yeah,
there might be a new like unfamiliar word that we talk about the definition of, and then it would just leads to so many other things. Yeah, definitely.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. There we go. Thank you for joining in and for being just as embarrassed, but we made it through. End of take 33.